Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to my channel, The Real Estate Real. Today we're going to switch things up a bit because I'm not necessarily talking about real estate, but what I am talking about is business. So this is 3 ways to increase your business literacy. And when you start a business, everything is pretty simple, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, okay? If that makes sense to you, I really want you to understand it if you are starting to grow your business or if you've been in business for a while. I know it already does make sense to you because it's the simple things, doing the simple things every day. But eventually those simple things do get tough sometimes, so it's not going to be easy. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is the communication skills. Your first weapon in your business is your communication. It is your mouth, your ability to make a connection with another person. And the sooner you close that loyalty gap, the easier it is going to be for that person to come back to your business and give you a return customer or a referral in your business. So in real estate business, one of the best sources of income for your business is referral business, and working in retail, I know that the same is also true. So clients or customers are going to go back to places where they have a positive experience, and it's obviously up to you and how you're going to give them that positive experience. So, how do you generate a positive experience? You find out their motivations and the reason why they are buying or the reason why they're shopping for what they're shopping. In my industry, personally, we have to find the motivation of why that person or client wants to buy or sell the home at the time. In your industry, it might be something different, perhaps a holistic location. The person might be coming there because they've experienced pain, or maybe they just want to increase their spiritual awareness. So knowing these things is going to help you build a better connection and close the loyalty gap for you and that client or customer. But finding customers' motivation always helps you connect to a deeper level. Obviously, when you're talking to a customer and you're making connections, they're going to start talking about things that they do in their life, and they're going to open up to you about those things in their life. And that's obviously a connection piece. You want people to do that for you. Don't be so standoffish if you are in business, because you want to connect with people and you want to be a great person, like Gary Vee pretty much says. So if you haven't looked into Gary Vee yet, you should definitely go check into Gary Vee. I know he has 1 million more views than I get on a single video, but so that means if you're watching my video, you probably heard about him already. That's all I'm saying. But a way that you're going to make a better connection is to ask open-ended questions. Find out people's motivations. Ask open-ended questions. They often start with what or who. And a great book that I want to recommend to read is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. If you haven't read it already or you like listening to audibles, go give that a look and give that a chance. So remember that the most important key in communication is pretty much closing the loyalty gap between you and a client. And I just gave you a couple ways to do that. So implement those in your business. And I tell you, if you start reading more on business books and books like Never Split the Difference, a lot of things are going to become easier to you, and you'll start making better connections. And especially if you're like a person where I was kind of introvert and I don't want to be in anyone's business all the time, you want to allow those people and those clients to let themselves speak, so you don't have to feel like you're being in their business. And it's a really great thing. It's been a really great thing for me in business, so I just wanted to recommend that to you too. Another thing is planning, business planning. That's number 2 on the list, is business planning. And I want to talk to you about that today because a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on planning their business. Maybe you aren't a planner, or maybe you fly by the seat of your pants type person. I have necessarily been that person before, so trust me, I am giving you examples of how I've become better myself as a business person, and it's really taken a lot of the stress from my daily habits and routine by planning out my business and doing things like that. Planning out your business can also create more opportunity for you if you haven't had that opportunity already. If you're staying on top of things, it's the trivial things, the easy things, the simple things, like I told you, that are going to give you more opportunity throughout the day. So, which will add value to your day, but it'll also leave you with more energy throughout the day if you are planning your business. So, plan to have that conversation, plan to have that meeting, and most importantly, plan to be successful. Because when we talk about planning, we're also talking in a sense about manifesting. I'm not trying to make it a spiritual thing, but planning your day and pretty much visualizing what you expect to see and how you expect things to go can make it a lot easier at the time. But you also want to have skills so that if you are planning and something doesn't go the way you think that is going to go for you, or it hasn't gone the way you think during a conversation or during your day, anything like that, you want to have the ability to make adjustments during your day to do these things And by sharpening your skills of everything around conversation skills, planning, and the other things that I've talked about in previous videos, you can definitely have the ability to change the trajectory of how you feel in that situation. Put your thoughts at ease, and work around the things that weren't planned for. Because obviously everything can't be planned in a day. But I was definitely reading an interesting book the other day. It's called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And it really put planning into perspective to me by a simple story that it was telling in one of the first chapters of the book. When I was reading the book, it talked about two journeymen that were taking a journey to Antarctica to pretty much discover and lay foundation as one of the early settlers in Antarctica at the time. I can't necessarily remember what sides they were from or what they were doing at the time, but I do remember that one of the person had prepared by getting in horses. He was preparing to take horses across the Antarctic, which of course we know now that it's super cold. But what he was doing is he planned for those horses. He also added an extra person during his expedition during the last minute. And he also didn't prepare enough for the food. And then the other person he was pretty much his competition at the time, he planned out, he had snow dogs planned out, he planned out the right amount of food, and he only brought 4 people with him, which the other guy brought 5 people with him. This made a major difference during the expedition to Antarctica, because the person with the snow dogs and the person that had planned out the snow dogs and properly planned out, he made it a month earlier than the guy that did not. But in the most literal sense of the story, the person that planned out in the wrong planning and had the horses involved in the planning and had the extra stuff along the planning, what he did was he actually perished along the journey, and him and the 5 other people that were with him died. And the only reason they said in this book that they knew the story is because the gentleman that died at the time actually wrote right before he passed away. They were suffering from a lot of things, him and the men that he took along with him, like hyperthermia and other things. And when he wrote that was one of those last pretty much will of testaments. But of course, what that means is it's not always going to be as serious in business, but plan as if your life depended on it, because in a sense it actually does. If you don't plan out how your life's going to go, you tend to take a back seat sometimes. And to be honest, I've been hearing a lot lately, I just want to throw it out there, that if you are feeling like you have to wait for the right time, there is absolutely never a right time. There wasn't a right time for me when I started this real estate business. To be 100% honest with you, I was completely broke at the time. I was renting out an apartment. It was right during COVID, where I was trying to figure out how to pay for COVID and everything else. And I just decided to dive into the business. That's my personal story about it. And ever since then, I've been sharpening my skills as not only a business person, which I'm talking to you about today, but as a good person overall, and a person who actually wants to, strive to go out and get things every day. So that's why I want to hopefully pass these things along to you. So if you have been a little hesitant, or you're not feeling like you should go after it right now, I'm really telling you should. So number 1 was communication skills. The second was planning. And last but not least, I told you there would be 3 ways. And just like I told you in the beginning, this YouTube video too is simple. And it's pretty easy, to be honest. So some things are simple and easy. But financial literacy is the last thing. It's number 3 on the list that I want to talk to you about. It's something that I've been trying to advance myself every single day. And it's something that I'm sure that a lot of people will, be trying to advance themselves. This means spending the least amount of money possible. For example, if you have to, just starting out as a realtor in the business, I had to pay some fees to start the business. But in business, it is incredibly easy to overpay for marketing and supplies, other things of that nature, if you're just starting out. So financial literacy is very important. If you're not financially literate, if you don't have financial literacy yet, I do recommend another book to you. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I'm sure you've heard before, by Robert Kiyosaki. But it doesn't tell you great information about how you do everything, how you get financial literacy. But what it does is it puts things into perspective for you of how you could become more financial literate. And things like that are, like I told you, not spending money when you don't have to spend money. If you're just starting out in the business, a lot of realtors in this business, they start to send door flyers out, house to house. and they do that and they expedite it by doing it through a service which pays for them to make the pretty much the door flyer if you don't already even have a service that makes the door flyer, as well as send those out, which can be expensive or more expensive to the average person who's just starting out in the business. It can be sometimes around $300. So if you have the ability to go and walk those to the doors that you were going to drop them off at, I would definitely recommend doing that because it saves you money. That's part of being financially literate in a sense, as well as make sure you're looking at other opportunities that you probably haven't looked into before. In community college and regular college, you get grants, you get other things so that you can go to college. I would love for you to implement those same things that you took from college if you went to college. If you haven't, you still probably know what I'm talking about. So take those same things, look for grants, look for things that will help you build your business, because the government is willing to offer that for small businesses who are starting out. So make sure you're getting all the grants and all the resources available to help you at the time so that you can grow your business in the proper way that you want to. Another thing is marketing. Marketing, like I said, can be extreme cost at some points, but there are other ways to market, and don't knock things till you try them. I'm completely convinced that I've tried to tell people. I'm not a huge social media person myself, but I'm trying to tell people at this point to get on social media and completely use social media and do those things, because you never know who's watching, and eventually down the line, after you've created enough content and you're creating content to where it's a niche market, people are going to want to follow you. So that's a great way to be financially literate and start marketing to people for pretty much free of cost, because it's your social media and it doesn't cost you anything. Unless you do, of course, want to promote those videos through Facebook or Instagram, where they do have the ability to promote those videos. But from what I've experienced, the promotions aren't always great, and there's other ways to do it where you'll feel more at ease, because that's the general idea of what we want: less stress, more freedom, things of that nature, and to be so that can help you in your business and grow. So most importantly, like I told you, if you're not feeling like it's the right time, definitely just start taking the chances on what you're going to do, but don't overspend money. You don't have to spend money to start your business or start the direction in what you want to grow. So that's all I pretty much had for you today, and as usual, I love doing these videos for you guys, whoever's watching out there, YouTube friends and family, of course. But I love doing these videos, and I've had a good time so far. It gets a little more difficult trying to create the content, but as usual, I definitely hope this was a good experience for you, as well as it added overall value to your life. And if you know anybody that is looking to buy or sell a house, I'd love to help that person out. So send me any referrals, like I told you before. This is a constant business in my case, and I love to grow and keep things going. So you do the same. And thank you. You have a great day. I'll see you soon.